Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to install one of these oversized bolt releases or combat bolt releases. This was a option you could get on a SPAS after, and I believe the law also, there towards the end of production or the end of importation to the United States anyway. And all it is they've threaded one of the standard bolt releases and they've kind of included one of these big mushroom buttons. This one's metal. I've talked to some people that said that they've received ones that were rubber and even plastic, but these ones that I've been picking up lately have been metal, and I've got both of mine actually. I liked this one so much I picked up another one. There's a great guy on Gunbroker what goes by the name of Catacombs Shadows, and he's been able to get a hold of a few of these, and all of his do seem to be metal, or at least mine have been anyway. So I believe last I checked with him he still had a couple left. He's a friend of the project and a really nice guy to deal with. So why it's beneficial obviously is it makes loading and unloading a heck of a lot easier, as well as, you know, if you're throwing shells in through the top, and you know it's just a little bit quicker. I could definitely see why it would be considered the combat version of the bolt release. So this guy's been safety checked and everything, but just to kind of give you an example with the factory bolt release, if you want to load, you've really got to pinpoint that little bolt release. This just increases the surface area by a heck of a lot, and that way all you have to do is you can mash your finger over there and just kind of show you. So all you really have to do if you're up here is, and you can release it. If you run dry and it comes back, you can throw it in the top, shut it, roll it over, and just mash your fingers across here and start feeding shells in. So it's really not that bad of an install process. I'll get to that right now. What you're going to want to do is start off by tearing the whole gun down and get it down to like its bare receiver. You got to take the trigger group and everything out. So I'll cut away and come back with the strip gun. Alright, not a lot of tools required. All we got the new oversized bolt release, combat bolt release, and the only other thing that I've used in these is just some kind of cheap dental tools. There's tiny little spring clips up inside the receiver that are a little bit difficult to get at, but these make it a heck of a lot easier. So, to start, there's just this tiny little slot in the receiver, and you can see on the bottom it kind of correlates with this pin, which goes all the way up into this little kind of hole here. So what's going on there is a pin, and it's got a channel kind of dug out here, and there's a spring going around it. So what we have to do, it almost looks like a little bobby pin. What we're going to do then is just shimmy the spring off, and it'll let the pin come out, and it'll also release the entire bolt release assembly. So I grab one like this. Also be careful because these will fly across your table, and you don't want to lose these because they're kind of expensive, these little pins. So find out which direction it's going. You can play with it there. It looks like the rounded edge is facing down towards the back of the receiver. So we're just going to, what I'm going to do is slide this into the slot, pull or push in and pull it back towards me, and that'll hopefully release that clip. So there we go. So you can see it kind of popped up there. Just grab that, set it aside. That one looks a little bit deformed. Okay, so now we just need to push out the latch pin, I believe it's called. I'm really bad about using the wrong names for things, so forgive me, but I'm just going to call it a pin. We're going to get that pin out. Push down inside this hole here. And it helps a little bit if you can wiggle the bolt release a little bit. Should start. Yeah, it's pushing it out a little bit. You can see kind of in relation to this one, it's pushing it out. Okay, so once you've taken your dental tool and pushed it out to about there, I just grabbed a tiny little flathead, and it's a little bit easier than still trying to go through the the back, and it's just allowed me to kind of get a little bit of grab on it. So just make sure everything doesn't fly out, kind of keep a grasp on everything. And it just falls right out. Remove this here. And last but not least, your factory bolt release with the two kind of prong ends pointing forward. So we'll put in the new one. Have the spring area in the back. It can flip around forward and such like that, but you want it back like that. Let's see. Trying to be mindful of the camera while also seeing is a little difficult, but I'll do my best. Okay. Let's see. We just line up all the holes. Push that up there. It is possible to push the pin all the way up through there, which is a little annoying. So you can, if you angle it in the light correctly, you can kind of see where the little ridge on the pin, you know, kind of correlates with that little channel. Let's see, did I miss it? And it just takes a little bit of adjusting back and forth to get it perfectly right, but you'll get it. So yeah, so I'm looking through this channel here, and I'm waiting to see when the little ridge will come through. This kind of grip does help too. It allows you to push in on this and this, which loosens the tension on the pin. There it is, right there. Okay. So now I'll just take my little latch pin, and if you remember, the rounded edge was pointing towards the back of the receiver. So carefully drop that in there. Just like that. And you might be able to get it with just your fingers. I think that's how I did my last one. Make sure it's going to click in on there. There you go. Now you've got the ability to thread in your combat bolt release. Maybe. There you go. Alright, hope that helps, guys. As always, more videos, stuff like that, information, replacement parts on the SPAS 12 project website. It's www.spas-12.com. Thanks.